All right, everybody. So I was just talking to a friend um, about kind of my origin story and what's been going on. I'm sorry that I'm shaking so much here. Just using one hand, recording this. You can see back there, I have an awesome little hand of my daughter Aslan. I don't know if you can see that very well. No, you can't. Sorry, I can't get up. Spinal injuries. But yeah, go ahead, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Okay, but what's going on? Today, I'm going to say basically my origin story. I mean, what has happened in my life from a young child to now. Okay, so here goes. I'm going to read this. I hope you don't get bored. It is what it is, really. So, origin slash destiny. When I was around 10 years old, I witnessed the death of my papa. He was my friend, it was my brother, my father. He was honestly just every positive male influence rolled into one person. He is the one being on this earth that showed me truly unconditional love. And there's a lot of people who may not understand what that is. And I don't honestly think there is a true definition for that. But I know within my heart of hearts that he bestowed that amazing, amazing gift to me. Anyways, after my papa died, I entered the worst depression that at 10 to 12, I don't remember the exact year, sorry, that this all happened, but I entered the worst depression of my entire life. I lost my entire world. He was everything to me, right? Everything. And this crazy fog entered my life at that age. And I'll go ahead and say it, which included, self-doubt, depression, honestly, just any negative thing you could think was going on in my mind since the age of 10 to 12 years old. I've been dealing with depression for so freaking many years, and I've always tried to put it off, thinking it's just a situational thing. But no, this is something that has been stuck with me forever now. Okay, just recently, right before the surgery, I entered let's do this, see if this looks better for you. I entered the darkest time in my life where I had planned out murdering myself. Not suicide, not anything like that. I had honestly planned to kill myself by taking a knife and stabbing it through my heart. Excuse me. That's still kind of tough, even to think about that, because I am typically such a positive person, and it's insane to me that there was so much negative shit going on, pardon the language, going on in my life, that I would do something like that, because I have family that loves me. I know I do. I have two amazing daughters. I have cousins, I have nieces, I have family that I know love me, but there was just something going on that was blocking all that love. It was terrible. This is going to be a crazy thing here. Let's see. It truly felt like I was not myself, like something else had entered me and was trying to murder me from the inside through my own thoughts. If not for my grandmother and her father, or not her father, sorry, her husband paying my rent, I would not be here today. I honestly would have murdered myself. Because I just, there was no positive here. The thoughts that I was having was, say, I'm not able to pay rent because of financial issues with my job. That's a whole other story altogether. But I had no way to pay rent, to put groceries on the table, except for government assistance. Thank goodness I was able to get some food stamps. Let's say I wrote this all out here so I could try to stick to a format, but that's not working so well. If it was not for my grandmother, I would not be here today. I would not have been able to pay rent. I would not have had the surgery. I would have said goodbye to the world. And what was going on in my head is everybody would have been better for it. I was it was such a terrible, bad spot that I thought that I was just this black hole, just absorbing any positive light around me. But here, back to this. I know there's a lot of information. I did write that on there. But I feel that it is important to say. I really do. Too many people nowadays just stay quiet because they feel that what they have to say is not important, and that's not true. The emotions and feelings that you have inside of yourself are important. Do not let them sit inside of you, or they will become a poison, and they will eat you from the inside. I am proof of that, 100%. There is no doubt in that whatsoever. The surgery was scheduled for July 5th, which is great. Of course, I was super nervous about that. I went there that morning, got into my bed, all that fun stuff, got de-dressed. Thank goodness the nurse asked me at that time what all medications I'd be taking. I had been taking, one of those was my ibuprofen. I had no idea. Nobody told me, which of course I should have done research, blah, 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 all things I should have done. But if not for this nurse, because no blood tests were done before surgery or anything like that, there's a high chance I could have bled out during surgery because I was taking a higher dose of ibuprofen because all the pain medicine that I was taking was basically doing nothing. Ibuprofen was barely taking the edge off of what I was dealing with. But yeah, if not for that nurse, I would have probably bled out in surgery due to the blood thinner in ibuprofen. So it's rescheduled for July 12th, right? I think, well, of course, I was crazy nervous about what was going on because it's your spine. I mean, if something happens to your spine, that's it, really. There's nothing you can do about that if something goes on with your spine. But I'll talk about that another time about writing a note out to my family and all that stuff. But like I was saying in the beginning, there was this fog that was in my brain. I knew it was there. I wasn't able to really understand what it was, but I just knew something was preventing me from getting to the potential that I knew that was inside of me. And it makes me extremely pissed off that I'm not sure if it is a chemical imbalance. I don't believe that it is. But I do know that there was this terrible fog. And it just wasn't leaving no matter what I did. No matter the drugs I had taken. Because I had taken depression drugs before due to another issue. But anyways, back to get on to focus here. So, as I said, I knew that something has always been wrong, but I wasn't really able to understand what that was with this fog. Now, with this fog being gone, the person I knew who was inside of me, I've always known there was, like I think I said this before, sorry if I'm repeating myself here a lot. There's just a lot of emotional stuff that I've never talked about and written down. I've actually written this down for the first time. But it's crazy fog, man. Like literally any possible negative thing you could think, anything about being fat, ugly, not being enough for somebody, not having enough money, any single negative thing you could think was constantly and has constantly been plaguing my life since around the age of 10 to 12 when I lost my papa. Back to this. Now, since this surgery, and again, I'm not sure if I'm hoping it's not to the pills that I'm taking. I'm hoping this is a lasting thing because I don't want to lose this feeling. I feel like who I am meant to be for the first time since losing my papa. But And that's why I've created this page as an outlet for you, for somewhere to go to, for somebody who really understands what you're dealing with. Because I promise, I can't promise. More than likely, I know what you're going through, because there's not a negative thought in my mind that I have not had. Zero. I have literally any negative thought you can think of, I played out through my mind throughout I'm 42 years old now. So for 30 years, I've been dealing with this crap. Can you imagine that? That's quite a heavy duty weight. But here, with this fog being gone, I am more driven, more positive, and focused. I do know, I'll just go way back here. So about 10 years ago, I had double pneumonia. Both my lungs collapsed. This is when H1N1 was going on, right? I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was this crazy thing. So a little backstory with that. I got the flu. And I'm typically a very healthy person, even though I may not look lit with the jowls there and everything, but I'm typically a very healthy person. So when I was taking care of one of my patients being in a home health aide position, and I got really sick. So I was taking care of myself, taking like Theraflu and Emergency, which I still love Emergency. That stuff's absolutely amazing to me. Not a sponsor, of course. Nothing I'm saying is sponsored yet, but I would love if it could be. That would be amazing. But when that was going on, I'm not even going to have to look at this for that. That day, when I was really, really sick, I started to feel better, which is fantastic. I was like, yay, I beat this finally. This is awesome because the flu sucks. I can get back to work and helping people, which I love to do. And then all of a sudden, I started feeling ill again. There was honestly, and it's gonna sound crazy to some of you, maybe not to others, but there was this voice inside of me. This apparently is gonna make me emotional as well. There was this voice inside of me saying that I need to get to the hospital immediately. And I reached out to my sister and told her, "Hey, I'm going to the hospital. Something is definitely wrong here, right?" So when I get to the hospital, but no joke, I can't even make this up. It sounds like I'm making this up. Not making this up. There was a 60-minute special or something on the TV, and for some reason it was on as soon as I got to the hospital to sit in the waiting room, triage, whatever you want to call it. And there was a special that was on that was talking about my exact symptoms, about the flu, about it getting worse and then coming back, which of course, like I said before, is exactly what I was dealing with. And they said, you immediately need to get to the hospital if this is happening through that special. Just praise God, higher power, whoever you want to believe in, that an angel, somebody was there for me that day, again, to save my life. Could have been my papa in spirit, but that's a whole other subject altogether. Which, if y'all want, I can create a whole little story about that. There's a whole other story about when I was in the hospital, the things that I saw. And of course, some of you may think it's medications, but I know what I saw and I know what I felt. And there's no doubt what I experienced when I was in the hospital. But back to that. So that day, when I was in the hospital, I watched the news thing, and then I got triaged back to the back room. There was a bunch of freaking people in there. Apparently a bunch of people were having either just the same thing going on or other symptoms going on. But I was put back in a little room. I'll never forget this. I was put back in a little room not back where everybody else goes, but there's a little side room at this hospital that I went to, where there's a bunch of people in beds, just open. And they had given me some sort of medication, and apparently when they gave me this medication, I passed out, and they had to wake me up. Something happened with my lungs. Something, I don't know. I just passed out. Luckily, a nurse was there to get me back up. After that, which I'd never ever been. I'm not sure the right word. My apologies, but I was taken up to the hospital to actually stay there. And at that time, I really just thought I just had the normal flu. Something else is going on. I didn't think it was anything truly serious at all. But when I was up there, a doctor asked me if I had a living will. And of course, at that time, I was still dealing with a fog and just all those negative thoughts, thinking, I mean, I don't have anything. I don't need to create a living will. And they made me actually fill one out, and that was kind of crazy to experience. Again, I was going through all this by myself. I mean, that's pretty much all that I've done. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. Praise God, or whoever you believe in. Just give all the praise to a higher power for sure. So dealt with all that. Have my emergency contact. Always put my sister as my emergency contact. I'm not sure why. She's the person I've chosen. She 100% is the one person that I can always trust to be there for me when I don't know if anybody else will. She will always be there for me. She is such an amazing mother, daughter, of course, sister. She's absolutely an amazing human being. But sorry, this is a crazy long story. I wasn't expecting it to go this long. So yeah. After that, I don't remember the exact process. I was going through a lot. But I was taken to like a separate room. Apparently my oxygen was getting pretty low. And when all that happened, I was in a separate room. There were tests being run to see what was going on with me. Again, like I said, my oxygen was running extremely low. Like my lungs shouldn't have been going. The oxygen was so low, they had to put an oxygen machine on me. When they did this, apparently there was a bunch of people in yellow suits with the masks and everything on, surrounding me in that room. Real people, not spiritual people, nothing like that. Real people, nurses, doctors, I think. But they laid me down, and when they did, the instant they laid me down, both of my lungs collapsed at the same time, and they had to perform an emergency intubation, and that freaked me out. I wasn't conscious, but apparently I was fighting off a bunch of people because I guess I was trying to protect myself or something from being suffocated by this tube that was being shoved down my throat, which was a life-saving thing, but I didn't know that. I was unconscious. I didn't know what was going on. But that, I don't remember where I was going with that really, but that's another instance when I was in the hospital. But yeah, if you want, I mean, please ask. I will explain what's going on there. It's in my memory. It's not going anywhere. I'll never forget about that. But back to the main thing here, the origin and my destiny here. I've always had thoughts about positive radio stations, just really positive things. That's just who I am. I try to stay positive, lift others up. That's just who I am. I feel that my purpose on earth is to be there for others. 100%. I have the heart of a servant. I love to help people more than anything on this earth. I've allowed homeless people to stay with me, complete strangers. I just love helping people. It fills me with this amazing feeling. I absolutely do. Where am I going with this? So basically, at the end of this, I'm not going anywhere. As long as, of course, I can pay my phone bill and all that fun stuff. I plan on constantly uploading on this channel. Hopefully have conversations with you so we can really get this going, because I have a strong feeling that through our positivity we can make a change, because there's so much nonsense and just crap going on in this world right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I'll go ahead and say this is kind of difficult for me to say. I was also molested as a child from a cousin of mine. So literally anything you could think of has happened to me. I don't believe I was raped. There's a small thing inside of me that says I may have been, but I think it was just the molestation, which I'm not trying to downplay that. That's something extremely serious, especially from a freaking family member. Are you serious? I'm not going to say the person's name. I'm just not going to do that. But at this point now, I'm mentally at the level to finally be here for you, for your friends, for anybody that wants to be a part of this, because I want this to be something for change. I hope this will help you in some small way, in some large way. But apparently that's it. I was not expecting 20 minutes of this. I didn't think I'd written this much out. But please, like, comment, share. Let's get this going, folks. We can do this. I know that we can. All right. And I'm creating a cool little hashtag, positivity despite. It covers so much crap that's going on in this world. And you making the choice to stay positive throughout it all. Because sometimes it feels like you're drowning with all this negativity and all the bad things with bills, with work. Sometimes it can feel like you're drowning. And I am here to say that I am reaching my hand out for you. And I'm not going to let go. All right? I love you guys. Positivity despite. All right, bye.